Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
The meeting of the Finance Committee on January 14th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. First item of business is the approval of minutes. I'll need a motion on the draft minutes of December 10th, 2024.
I move approval on the draft minutes.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer. Any comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
We got motion carries. Next item is public appearances for non-agenda items. We have no one in chambers and no one online. So we will move on to item 4, Finance Director Report. Misty?
Thank you. So property tax collection is obviously the topic of the moment. So through the end of the year, staff collected about 31.0 million, which was in 12 working days. So they've been cranking those through real fast. And then as of yesterday, it was 53.6 million. So huge kudos to the whole team. The accuracy has been spot on. Everything's been balancing really well. It's going very well. It's just high volume. Other things, the payroll and HR services software RFP was released since the last time we've spoken. We had our pre-conference yesterday with some good turnout, and responses are due January 24th, so that project's moving along nicely. We did get the annual sewer rate increase back. It works out to be about 4.5% increase for homeowners. That includes a $2 per quarter fixed charge increase and a 15 cents per 1,000 gallons increase. There are different increases for other categories, but I figured the residential would be the most interesting. And then other than that, we are closing out 2024 and then getting ready for audit, which will be happening in March. So keep them busy.
Wonderful. Can't believe it's already 2025.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Any questions for our finance director? All right, we can move on to the review of bills. 5A, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above from December 1st to the 31st, 2024, totaling $1,031,852.79. Comments, questions? We can move on to item 5B, detailed review of all checks issued, checks 127883 to 128009 from December 1st to the 31st, 2024, totaling $1,248,021.10. Comments or questions? Bill?
Yeah, I saw there was a WISDOT title search, looked like $8,000 charge that was voided. Well, just curious what that was about.
What page of the packet you're looking at?
Let's see here.
Otherwise, I can find it and get back to you by email.
It's on page 16 of 135, 1224. That's where the void is.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics off the top of my head, but I will get back to you.
Okay.
Great. Seeing nothing else, we can move on to 5C. Detailed review of all ACH payments for $10,000 and above from December 1st to 31st, 2024, totaling $755,407.18. Comments or questions? Bill?
Yeah, I guess as long as Tim is in the room. I saw there was a purchase from Compass Minerals for 315 tons of salt. Is that like the full amount for the season?
I don't know.
No, that's the early start purchase that we do at the beginning of the season, and then we'll make another purchase during the season, and then depending on how much snowfall we receive, we may make one last purchase towards the end of kind of springish.
Off the top of your head, do you ballpark, how many tons did we go through in the last couple of years annually?
I know every year it seems to be going down. It's hard to kind of compare because it's not an apples to apples comparison depending on the storm events. But, you know, with our new trucks and the automation with the calibration and the controls, the automated controls, it's really helped out with our salt usage. And, you know, Mark's been doing it for 30 plus years, and he said it has gone down.
Okay.
Great. We can move on to 5D, detailed review of all ACH payments December 1st to 31st, 2024, totaling $771,020.33. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we can move on to 5E, detailed review of all P-card transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending November 6th, 2024, totaling $165,254.55. Comments or questions? We can move on to 5F, review of P-card transactions for the cycle ending November 6th, 2024, totaling $298,476.30. Comments or questions? All right, we can move on to action items. 6A, I'll need a motion on Resolution R 21524, approving 2025 Dane County contract for senior center services.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Wheeler. Who's going to cover this one? Misty?
I will. Yep. So this is an annual contract that we have with Dane County. They provide us funding that helps pay for the services in the senior center, including congregate and home delivered meals, case management, and that's it. Yeah. And so Jill has a staff memo included that kind of shows the history over the past several years. But we are ultimately, whatever amount they are willing to provide us is the amount that we will receive.
That's great.
That's it.
Quick, Bill.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any knowledge of this.
Making
or
a
not,
note.
But I see that the nutrition amount went up, but case management actually went down. I'm wondering what, is there an explanation for that?
I'm not sure. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Seeing no more questions, we can take a vote. All in favor of Resolution R 21524, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to, I'll need a motion on Resolution R 22324, authorizing 2025 to 2029 MAM swap intergovernmental agreement.
I'll move approval of Resolution R 22324, and I'll just say as amended by RCC last night.
Wonderful. Motion to approve as amended by RCC from Alder Jetzer. Bill, would you like to give us a summary of how it was amended in RCC before we get started with the discussion?
Yes, it's kind of trivial. In the first whereas clause, it references the municipal separate storm, sewer, and then parenthetically MS4. And we thought, just for clarity, we should put the entire verbiage in there, municipal separate stormwater system, or storm, whatever it is. There's 4 S's, but there was only 3 in the whereas.
All right, some simple amendment. Tim.
Yes, so the city of Fitchburg is obligated to operate an information, education, and outreach program under our MS4 permit. The Madison Area Municipal Stormwater Partnership, which is MAMSWAP, is a regional partnership to pool resources and help each member partially fulfill its information and obligation for permits and education. This intergovernmental agreement outlines the city of Fitchburg's funding obligation to MAM swap totaling $59,722 over a 5-year agreement period. So we're looking for the Common Council to authorize the city clerk and mayor to sign the attached intergovernmental agreement with MAM swap.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. We can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R22324, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Is that as amended?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, yes. As amended, since that was the motion on the table.
Exactly.
To clarify, though. Moving on. I'll need a motion on Resolution R23024, Community/Senior Center upper level table and chair replacement.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Wheeler. Who can, Misty?
Yep. So this was a purchase that was included in the past CIPs. Using state contract, both the senior center and the community center staff worked together to figure out what tables and chairs would be best utilized in that space. So this would be that purchasing authorization.
Bill?
2 questions. So what happens to the current tables and chairs?
So under ordinance, first we have to offer them up to all city departments to see if anybody else could use it for city operations. And then if there's no takers, generally it would go to surplus.
Okay. And then just curious on furniture like this that we know needs, regular replacement, even if it is on the scale of a couple of decades. Are we starting to pay attention to the materials those things are made of and what the ultimate disposal path is going to be?
I'm not sure. I can find out.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R23024, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Next item, I'll need a motion on Resolution R23224, 2025 annual chemical purchase from Martel Water Treatment, Inc.
I move approval of R23224.
Motion to approve by Alder Jetzer. I'll turn it over to Tim.
Thank you. The Fitchburg Water Utility has been purchasing chemicals for water treatment for several years. The chemical treatment of the city's water system is required to ensure safe drinking water. The chemical that we specifically purchased from Martel is phosphate, and we're looking for authorization from the Common Council to purchase an amount not to exceed $25,000 for phosphate from Martel Water Treatment Incorporated.
Thank you. I did notice that the rationale for purchase in the pre-approval request on the second page of this section, it actually says chlorine and fluoride, which was the question I had because I didn't know the difference between the two companies, but this is actually for phosphorus.
Phosphate, correct, yes. And the Hawkins, which is the next resolution up for approval, that we typically purchase our chlorine and fluoride from, so I'll make a note of that in the pre-approval request.
Great. We, it would be nice to put that on the referral sheet in some way, just so it's easier to find in the future. But it is an annual purchase, so we're used to this one. Any questions?
Yeah, I was just going to, along the same lines. Is there a way for us to put in an amended version of that pre-approval? Because the resolution says, for the purpose of water treatment as outlined in the pre-approval. So if the pre-approval is wrong, we're not passing the correct resolution.
Yep, if you wanted to do an amendment to direct staff to correct the pre-approval, or you can just direct me to do it too, and we could do an amendment as changed by staff. Yes, either way.
That sounds easier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to make sure that correction gets done in the pre-approval. It won't be updated in the packet, but in the accounting software, it would be correct.
It might be worthwhile to amend the resolution itself, because it actually doesn't say phosphate in the resolution. It just says chemicals.
As outlined in the pre-approval, and the Hawkins resolution says the same.
Oh, that says it in the as outlined in the pre-approval. Okay. Would it be better to change the pre-approval, or would it be better to actually just add phosphate to the resolution?
So, Bill, the motion is yours. So why don't you do a friendly amendment to change the resolution to clarify that it is whichever chemical it is that we're talking about, and then also direct staff to make that correction on the pre-approval. Does that work?
Okay. I move that we amend the resolution to say that we are purchasing phosphate from Martell rather than for the purpose of water treatment as outlined in the pre-approval, and as well directing staff to correct the pre-approval to reflect the actual chemicals we're purchasing.
A friendly amendment?
I'm open to it if you are, but
Yeah.
ultimately it's your call as chair.
I think that's a friendly amendment. It's pretty clear.
Did I say it friendly enough?
No vote required with a friendly amendment.
Okay.
If there's no objection. Any other questions? All in favor of Resolution R 23224 as amended, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Next item, I'll need a motion on Resolution R 23324, 2025 annual chemical purchase from Hawkins Chemical, Inc.
I move approval.
Motion to approve by Alder Wheeler. Tim?
Thank you. The Fitchburg Water Utility has been purchasing chemicals for water treatment for several years. Chlorine is added to the city's water system to ensure safe drinking water, and fluoride is added to prevent tooth decay. We're looking for authorization from the Common Council in an amount not to exceed $57,000 for the purchase of these chemicals from Hawkins Chemical Incorporated.
Wonderful. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R 23324, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Next item business is item 7, announcements. Our next finance meeting will be January 28th, 2025. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion by Alder Jetzer. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Motion carries. We are adjourned at 5:46 p.m. Thank you.